All right, welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Consortium Remastered. You are Consortium Bishop 6, a celebrity peacekeeper in the year 2042. Choose to speak out loud using your own voice to shape relationships and navigate the story. Experience a murder mystery thriller aboard a futuristic aircraft with a narrative twist. Every choice counts. Um, Now, it is worth noting that at the tail end of last season, not the final episode, but close to the end, we did an interview about this very game series with interdimensional games. We talked with Gregory McMartin. That went on for a pretty long time, as I recall, because that's when we weren't doing MSP. So basically, if you want to find out more about the development of Consortium Remaster and the Consortium universe, including the VR efforts, be sure to go and check out that particular episode. And so sometimes what we do on this program is we review the games that we feature on the program in interview form. Not all the time, but sometimes. And this is one of those cases. So over to Petty Fan for the details.
This is a game.
Are you trying to get that on a T-shirt or something?
Maybe.
They say this is a murder mystery, but most murder mysteries don't involve getting shot by unknown with a combat shotgun.
The problem with this game is its combat kind of sucks. I don't know if they just want me to try and... If I piss somebody off and they sent me more powerful dudes, or what. Like the first part of the game is there's a lot of talking. The interesting crux for this game is you can actually voice, like, if you have a microphone connected to your computer, you can give it the game voice commands or like speak out the dialogue that you could be speaking. So if you're going to greet another character, you say hello, and it will, receive that. Which that's a fairly interesting feature. I guess the problem for me is when I'm playing games, if I'm just playing it for myself, I generally don't talk that much, especially because I live with other people in my house.
Yeah, games that involve your own actual speaking into a microphone as you play as a mechanical thing are always going to run into problems with people who don't play games alone or live in a house with other people and can't volume at certain times.
Yeah.
Or just people who don't prefer to express themselves in a... I mean, I'm not going to specifically bring this up as a neurotypical thing, but some people are loud about different things.
Yeah. And like, I guess the problem with the voice thing in itself is it doesn't give you the tone you should have. So what I think is a perfectly reasonable answer, it is, I guess, written to have a more negative tone to it, but it doesn't tell me what that tone should be.
The old problem with dialogue selections in other games.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the summary of the line is, suggests a significantly different tone than the actual one that they want you to express with it.
So while I'm thinking, oh, this should be, this is a perfectly reasonable answer that I would give someone, turns out getting me a bunch of disfavorable reactions from the crew. It wasn't the tone I was intending to project. And yeah, this game is one of those games that's very much seems to be built for VR.
Which is fine, but it's going to mean that this show doesn't have the full
yeah.
experience of it.
Or like I could imagine somebody like Naka having a blast with Let's playing this because he could act out.
Does he have an actual VR setup?
I don't know, but at the same time, he can just play it regularly like this.
To be fair, I mean, maybe pass that along to him or something. Like
maybe pass it along through Ogre. But yeah, like for me, the main gimmick or main crux of this is not my jam, but I could definitely see, Let's Player or somebody who lives alone could definitely have a lot more fun with this than I did. As far as I can tell, I think at least most of this takes place on the ship. I don't know if there are. I didn't get too far into it, and so it's very much one of those. It could just be like short runs on the ship. There could be parts we get off. I'm not sure. And I guess something that is nice because I don't. Well, for the voice stuff, when I tested it, it seemed to be fine, even with my bit of a speech impediment. I don't know how far it goes. Like if somebody has a very thick accent, if they would be able to use the voice feature well, and or obviously isn't great with whatever. Because I think there's only like 4 languages the voice feature is available in. Like I don't have that information in front of me at the moment.
Though we will, at the risk of making some kind of error, assume that if you're watching this podcast, you probably are at least passingly conversant in English.
Yes. Let me see if there's anything in here that. Yeah. Are you okay, Alex?
Oh, sorry.
And oh yeah, there is like spectator Twitch play stuff in here, which that's fine. Various performance settings. It does at least give you the option to show any character alignment changes because there has been games that have put that on the back end stuff, so you don't know until somebody double crosses you, and that probably pisses me off most of all. Okay, it looks like there are 5 languages in here, and I think all of these languages in game are usable with the voice feature. I'm not sure if that's actually on the, how it goes, but at bare minimum, English is supported. So if you're listening to this podcast, then fair you can use it. And yeah, a lot of the start of the game is just you can go around the various places of the ship. Eventually you will trigger event where you speak with who is, I'm presuming, the antagonist, and then the fight breaks out on the ship. The combat in this game sucks. It absolutely sucks. They want you to try and do non-violent means, but the problem is they're only giving you lethal weapons.
If you want us to use nonviolent problem resolution mechanisms, you shouldn't make the violent ones the most effective.
Or because until you actually go up and subdue them, they will not stop. Like, you may stun them briefly, but until they are either dead or, you know, dead or subdued, they will keep coming. Don't know what the fuck this is. And yeah, there's a whole lot of like very classic age sci-fi stuff going on, like very Star Trek-esque, which if you listen to the interview, yeah, it tracks. Oh yeah, and you can accidentally harm yourself by jumping into the ceiling or getting stuck on doors. Um, but yeah, uh, if there is music, it wasn't really my thing, like my jam. Like it was a lot of ambiance here, and I don't know why I'm bleeding. Um, but yeah, all in all, the game is fine. The voice feature is interesting. Yeah, when no clip damages you. I feel that, Sergeant. Maybe. But yeah, all in all, the game's interesting. I'd like to see, I guess, kind of where the edges of the voice system can go. Like, if you have a thick accent, how well that works, because I obviously don't. But yeah, other than that, the game is fine, just not my cup of tea. But yeah, I could definitely see like a Let's Player getting a lot more fun out of this than someone like me who is very quiet when he plays games. You know. So what are we looking at price wise, Adam?
Oh, let me see. The price clocks in at $14.99.
Sure, why not? And that's not on a sale. That's just like its regular everyday price, right?
Yep. Now, the VR version is going to have the VR tax at $24.99.
Hmm. And this is for just like Valve's index stuff, not for like say like MetaQuest or something like that.
It's not for. It's not for the. For the. The
The Meta
locked off
family.
Quest. You know.
All right. $14 is definitely fine as far as VR goes. Again, it falls
Well,
to
that's not for the VR version specifically.
hmm,
Like, remember the Pancake and VR versions are actually different SKUs.
hmm. And I guess whether you want to play this or the VR version, I guess if you like VR, this could be interesting, especially with the, being able to talk to characters component.
Mm.
And I guess I should mention that it isn't like not like a full generative AI thing talking to the characters. There are specific lines you can say like that were tied to the function keys
Mm-hmm.
that the characters will react to. So if it's not one of those options, they will basically ignore that you said anything. So there is that. They're not like in any form trying to imitate sentience. It's very scripted in its how it handles that. So if you're looking for something that feels more alive, this isn't it. It's still relatively rudimentary. Rudimentary. But yeah, I think that's it in, my summation of the game. Do you guys have any questions or comments?
I think I'm
No.
good.
All right. So yeah, that's it for me.
All All right. So yeah, that'll about do it for Consortium Remastered here. Be sure to tune in after the break as the Galax will be reviewing The Mermaid of Xenor.